It's Cabal time. Now Cabal, I think, is probably the most underrated character in the game. Everyone knows that he's strong, but it seems like not a lot of people are playing him. And every time we look at tier lists, he's never considered S tier. I don't even put him S tier in my list, but like, why? You know? When I analyze this character, he has everything you want to have in this game. He has perfect frame data, he can play as a zoner or not, he can play as a rushdown type of character, or he can play the distance game, the footsie game. He has everything. Let's just look at his frame data real quick. Just real quick, okay? That's +1. That's -3. That's -5. And it's an auto shimmy, right? Because the arm extends. Looks a little bit like this, especially if you're here. And since it's 3 hits, it's easily hit confirmable. Let's say they let go of block after the first hit, and then you have 2 hits to see that it touches, and then you can hit confirm. And with these kinds of frames, right, -3, you can easily do 1-1 into backdash 1-2, standing 1 to backdash 4-2, or just standing 1 into backdash back 1, right? His down 4 is also really good. Look at this distance here. Pushes people back. It's -6, which is normal, right? But even on block, I mean, if you fight against someone who doesn't have a lot of range, not Cetrion would deal with this easily, but say you're here, you slap, and then you're in range for the back 1, instead of just having to block like this, right? You could do this, depending on who your opponent is. Just make sure you're not out of range. Even, look at this here, this is a mid, okay? This is 11 frame mid, this is 15, but look at this range here. The range is amazing. This 12 frame mid is still really rangy. And look, there's pushback on the forward too, which means that you can simply push back people on stagger and then proceed with forward and with back 1. I just did back 2. Let's look at that. +2. This one here is a mid, +2. With distance, right? Which allows you to back up just a tiny little bit. Like this, maybe. Yeah. And then touch. Or just proceed with 4-2. His down 1 has a 14 hit advantage, which usually, from the average that I've seen, it looks like most down 1s have 13 hit advantage, so he has more than usual. His down 3 is 15, which is, you know, the max hit advantage. I think the max is actually Shiva's down 3, but which is +16, I think. But anyway, so this one +15, which is amazing. And it, the animation has now changed since the patch, right? So it gets people rising, which is always stronger than this, because this is harder to react to than this when you're trying to gel. So you can always do this. It gels into 1-1-1. Probably gels into all sorts of things. Yeah, gels into back 1. Of course, we'll gel into 4-2. It's a mid. Back 1's a mid 2. And of course, after you've conditioned your opponents, if you see that they actually block, so let's see they do this instead, they block, that's when, of course, you go in and for the grab, just delay it a little bit. Now, of course, not going to work, it's an AI, but it would work if they held block after. But let's keep looking at the frames, because I think the most interesting thing about this character is actually the frames, which I know it sounds nerdy. But the thing about frames is that it's really important, because good frames allow you to stagger properly. It allows you to backdash, right? To do something like this and backdash. If this was -6, you couldn't do this, because you're going to be stuck in just in stun, essentially, for -6 for 6 frames, right? So now you're just stuck in stun. I don't know if stun is the right word, but you're stuck for 2 frames. So it allows you to backdash before your opponent can react, because human opponents need time, right? They're not computers. So we're going to test a couple with punishers, but first the frames. Alright, 4-2-2, -3. So you have this option, which is -2, this option, which is -3, and the completion, which is -2. Only -2 for completed string. Unbelievable. Why? I don't know. But this is why you often see Cabals never ending their turn, because this becomes like it touches on the 9th frame, right? Because this is -2, this is 7, so you do 7 + 2 = 9. So this means that when you're taking back your turn against Cabal after this string, most of them poke, right? So you have 2 options. Either you poke them first or you backdash to whiff punish them, right? Like this. So you see? Could do something like this to punish a Cabal, or simply poke them first. Or use a 9 frame mid, which most people don't have, and it will actually trade. Like a Jackie could do 4-3, but it would trade if you're both frame perfect. So it might be like a toss-up, which is often what it is in this game when the frames are the same. As a Cabal, when you do this, and if you're having success, and you're stealing your turn left and right, keep doing this. Keep poking. So you poke, and then it's up to you what you want to do after. If they poke you first, then obviously you would have to adjust and you have to block when your turn is over. But actually, maybe you might even be able to backdash. We'll test it out. But if they are respectful and they keep blocking, because you've abused them so much, that's when you grab. Back throw is something that I find harder to tech, because most people, you know, they throw forward simply because it's, you need sometimes to take a step forward, right? So you just hold forward and it throws forward. So you're in range for the back throw, use the back throw, right? Like this. I'm gonna get Cetrion to try to counter me. So it looks like you might have enough spacing. Backdash, right? I can't just do the whole string because there's a... Is there a gap? There's no gap. Okay, there's no flawless block gap, but it's just the way the AI works. Sometimes it punches when it's not time. Okay, obviously Cetrion can counter what I just did, right? The backdash after my turn is over, because she has long range normals, like down 4, and the 4-2 touches me. But let's say they just press 1-1, for example. Let's test it out in a more realistic way, because I feel like I'm a bit too far when my kick touches. That might be why this it's not realistic, so let's try it in a different way. Okay, so someone can poke you if you try to backdash and whiff punish, if they are as quick as possible, right? If they mash. But the thing is, if they're a tiny little weeny bit late, slam. They get slammed. So this is gonna work online against a couple people. Probably not against the people that are really, really good. So this is gonna depend against which character you play. Cetrion's gonna counter this easily because she has long-ranging normals, right? But if you play someone who's stubby, like I don't know, Shiva for example, you see how if I use a short range mid, or a short range attack normal, I don't touch. I don't have time to touch because the frames are just -2. Let me try to mash down 1. Okay, if I mash, I counter. If I mash 1, I counter that. If I mash back 3, your best option after this is to poke, in my opinion, and to adjust when they adjust. But if they're slow, like I said, you can always backdash and try to do things like that. Depends on the skill level of your opponent. So look at this one here. That's standing 2. It's a high, it's 9 frames, but it's +3 on block. So I can touch, now I can't, right? I can touch, now I can't. Because it creates space, and that's what Cabal wants. It wants to create space so that he can touch you and you can't touch him. Now Cetrion is a good counter to Cabal simply because she has long-ranging normals too, right? So he can't do that. But if he was playing against Sonya, for example, Sonya might be in trouble. So you can do standing 2 into back 1, or standing 2 if you want to be sure backdash if they're chasing you, or just take a small step, right? Actually, I don't even think you might need to take a small step, just because of the spacing is good enough to just let it rip. Do standing 2 into back 1, or standing 2 into 4-2, right? Back 1 and 4-2 are essentially your go-to moves, I think, with Cabal. And standing 1, of course, because you can auto shimmy people. When we do standing 2-3, doesn't create as much space, right? Because look, I can still touch after, but it's only -1. I just don't think that 2-3 is something you want to use on block. There's other better options. You just probably want to use this on during your combos, and so like it's a launcher, it's a normal launcher, which you can then use with some options with back forward 2, with the which is, you know, one of his best moves, the hook grab. But if we look at 2-2-1, -2 again. You know what -2 means? It means mash. See, it touches. So that's how Tekken Master plays, actually. I just watched him on stream. He does 2-2-1, down 1. Or he does 4-2-2-4, down 1. As soon as it's -2, you have to take back your turn by poking against Cabal, because he will forever steal his turn. His frames are just too good. It's like Shiva with their good frames. If we just do 2-2, look at the spacing it creates, right? It creates spacing because of the standing 2. Then you get another little slap in there. Gets even more space. Are you in range for the 4-2? Ooh, sometimes it whiffs. Woo, why does it whiff? You're in range for the 4-2. Sometimes it whiffs, sometimes it doesn't. Interesting. No, it does. I need to take a small step forward. So standing 2-2. See, it didn't whiff this time. What the fuck is this game? Standing 2-2, and then you can do back 1. If you need to move back a little bit, you can. Or standing 2-2, if it doesn't whiff, you can do 4-2. Standing 2-2 is -1, right? So I think you're... Nah. Yeah, if you're gonna poke after this, oh my god. Oh my god, it's not the best move. Sometimes it touches, sometimes it doesn't, but because of the spacing, you're gonna have to do down 4 something. If you just do standing 2, and you want to stagger that, right? Look, it doesn't touch. So you have to do down 4. Man, this is oppressive. Whoop, you have to take a small step forward though. like that. Okay, I think that's enough for that. Look at this. I discovered this the other day. 4-3. It's a mid. It's slow as hell, right? You don't really want to use it, except if you're far. But +6. This means that this becomes like a 9-frame mid indirectly. So this is really good for pressure. Just keep in mind it's slow, right? You might get hit, but from time to time I use this online. 4-3. It's not just good to launch in combos. Actually, you shouldn't even use this anymore. I used to use 4-3 in combos. We used to see that a lot, but I think there's other options now that are easier and better. Okay, so let's look at... Okay, standing 4. No, it's a high. It's not something you want to use just normally. Like that in the neutral. This is... Standing 4 is the go-to you want to use in combos, and we'll look at combos in a second, but it's for B and B combos instead of doing standing 2 or 3, but we'll talk about that in a second. But it's just interesting that it's +4, so if you actually land that back, so then just keep your turn. And if we look at standing 3, now that's -4. Why? I guess, okay, it's only 10 frames on startup, but this is only 13 and it's +4. Anyways, very odd, but okay. Sometimes you wonder, is NRS, you know, are they geniuses or are they just doing random shit? Okay, so he has a 9-frame mid, but look at how stubby this is, and this is not hit confirmable. You're not going to be able to hit confirm this. And this comes to a full stop. A 4-4 into 1+3. Full stop. This means that you can't special cancel it after this, but there's a sneaky overhead in here. Every time there's an overhead with Cabal, we can mix this. So let's look at the spacing here. When we complete the string, we're this close. When we don't complete the string, we just push the other guy away. So if you want just to create some space, keep in mind it's -4, so you have to be a little bit careful here, but you can just bloop, push them away a little bit. It's about the same range as standing 2, except standing 2 is plus, but standing 2 is a high. Anyways, so yeah, forward 4 is good for range, just to check someone too. I'm wondering though, what if they roll? Can they punish you if they roll? So I do this and I go to check them. Ooh, it's hard to say. Okay, so let's say he's gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna roll. Okay, it's safe. It's a safe check. Does it cover both options? Let's see if it covers both options, right? So if I delay... Oh, it looks like it might. Hold on. Oh my god, it covers both options. Hold on. It covers both options. But if you roll... Oh, if I can do it. Yeah, you're gonna get a punish on them. So if you're Cabal, you want to go for this meaty here, which is forward 4 into 1+3. Only if they have no bar, because... it covers both options, but I'm gonna tell you that he has so many options to cover both options when it comes to mediating, right? When you have no bar, that it's better to just probably do this one, back 1 instead. Because even if I delay, let's say I try to mash, I can't mash, and if I delay and try to mash, I can't mash all of this, I'm completely stuck. So this is probably better as a meaty when they have no bar, when you want to go for a full combo meaty, meaning the back 1. Even the 4-2-2-3 is gonna work. And we're gonna test it just in case it doesn't. It's gonna work, so I delay, I can't mash. I work up normally, I can't mash. Oh my god, his media options are so good. Alright, so he just explored 3 good media options. I recommend doing just either the back 1 or the 4-2 when they have no bar. Don't let them roll on you. Okay, so we looked at a whole bunch of normals. We did not look at back 1 very much. So this one, you often see this online, right? It staggers the back 1 like that. Now this is good when you play people who are not good, but people who are good are not going to fall for this, because what are they going to do anyways? They know they can't do anything, you're too far, right? So I think what's going to happen, you're going to end up doing this a lot, staggering this one, and not opening people up. So that's why I recommend doing other things, right? Like creating space in different ways, like 4-2-2 into backdash back 1, 4-2 into just back 1, standing 1-1 into back 1. You have to be a little bit creative. Forward 4 into back 1, because just doing back 1 into back 1 into back 1, right? It won't be open people up. People are not that dumb. But if they are beginners, then this is not even beginners, even intermediate. This might touch them. The double back 1 right here. Right here, you might have more luck, actually, maybe, because people think they might be able to interrupt you with a poke. But the thing is, this is -3, so by the time they react, they're not going to be able to touch you, is what I'm betting. Of course, the AI will. If it's a hard read, they will. But if you're mixing it up well, I have a feeling that this, even though you're at risk of getting poked, is going to be more useful for you to open people up than doing it from here. Also, be careful if you do it from here, right here, and you're just messing around, right? You just keep doing back one. If you're fighting someone with long-ass range like Spawn, this is... I'm wondering if Spawn might be able to just backdash and just throw a forward 3 at your face. Probably. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't care. Okay. Alright, let's look at those beautiful frames. This is -3. -7. So, like, unpunishable except like a poke from like Garrus, that someone that has a down one that's 6 frames could touch you, but they won't. Why? Because they're scared of the follow-up. Plus, you know, the worst that's gonna happen is just someone will gel you to down one, so it doesn't, like, just do this, right? So what you're gonna want to do, let's look at this here. The follow-up is -4. So it's always better if you really care about frames. Look at how close you are here. Cabal does, you know, he's okay being super close, but he thrives when he's here, right, in the neutral. Or, like, this is not really the neutral, but when he's here. So, this is why this is -7 close. This is -4. Tiny little bit more space. -4, it's not good enough to poke, to move back, right? You're gonna have to be careful because they can take back their turn here. Like, I mean, let's try them. Cetrion's gonna poke me. It's gonna work with the AI, but if I'm here... Yeah, let's do it again. Okay, yeah, -4 is not enough to be able to backdash properly. So when you do this, essentially, there's no, like... Unless your opponent is slow, you're not going to be able to backdash. A down one that's not really rangy will touch you. Like, her down one is not very rangy. It looks like it because of the blue, but it's not really rangy, and it still touches. So what you will do with Cabal, I'm putting the AI on random combo. So the AI will block from time to time. Right now, she didn't block, and she still doesn't block. Now she blocks, okay? No need for custom reversal. So what we're going to do is you're going to practice this. You're going to do back 1, 2, and when you see that it's blocked, you do down 2, okay? You do down 2. Again, down 2, because she's blocking. And now you special cancel on hit. So that's how you're going to practice this. You can practice it with forward 2 as well, right? On hit, you special cancel, and if we can get some block, on block, you do standing 4 to complete the string. Or with 4-2, since the completion of the string, when we look at frames, the completion here, when we complete it, it's -2. This is better than this stacker, which is -3. If you're more comfortable just staggering it, and let's say they block, then you don't do anything. But when you react, and you see they don't block, then you special cancel. That's easier than to on block, you finish with 4, and on hit, finish with a special cancel, because you just have a little bit more to think of here. So if you want to just stagger it always with the 4-2, if that helps you, instead of completing it, just do that. That's fine. Completely fine. The frames are good enough for you. You can still abuse it, just to make sure from time to time you mix it up, because eventually someone is going to be able to read you. Okay, so that's it for the normals. I talked about 2, 3, this one. See how it launches? 2, I know there are a couple things you can do here, but you can just grab. This is an armor breaker, by the way, which is absolutely insane, and it leads to a crushing blow. Down back 4, of course unsafe, right? But let's see how unsafe it is. Yeah, definitely unsafe. -15. How unsafe is this one? -29. Okay, so this here, make sure you just use it in a hit confirms and combos. Don't you'll notice you're gonna get hurt. So 2, 3. Let's look at this one. Do 2, 3. You can grab if you just want to do that, or you can also. I recommend you probably use it after a down 3, something like this, right? It gels. You see how it gels and launches? That's actually not a bad option. And then you complete the string. Just a quick tip, boys. When you launch, okay, there are 2 strings that launch normally, meaning that launch like where Cetrion, her feet is off the floor. This one. See how she, okay, yeah, of course she's launched, and she's launched here. But this one, she's grounded. You see how she's grounded? This one, she's still grounded. That makes a difference in the combos that you're going to use after, and the buttons that you will press. So for example, when I launch, and I go into this, right? All of them, they all go into this one. That's your follow-up. The Nomad dash, which is back forward 3, this one here. But if you do 1-1, she's grounded, right? But you don't want to do that, you just want to complete it. So you can't see it in the animation, but know that when you use 2-3 and it launches, 1-1-1 and it launches, and then you go into Nomad Dash, you cannot do 2-3. You see how far she is? If I do 2-3 and I try to grab, it doesn't work. Even if I do 2-3 and grab with the other option, it doesn't work. Same thing with 2-3, special cancel, 2-3 again, she's too far. But if I do back 1-2, and now I do that, see how she's not as far? Because here she's grounded, now I can catch. Same thing with 4-2-2. I do 2-3, now I can catch. So there are two different combo routes. When you do 1-1-1 and 2-3, what you will want to do, instead of doing 2-3 right here to extend the combo and to do damage, right? You'll do standing 4, just like that. And I will show you. It's less damage. Let's look at the damage. 184 compared to 168, but there's no choice here. So you do this, slam, slam, just like that. Now it grabs. Interesting, huh? So if you do this one, it will still grab. Now I'm sure there are other options, but these are the ones that I use. Standing 4. Of course, some people find different combo routes all the time, but this is my recommendation to you. When you do back 1, 2, that's when you want to do the 2-3 to get the most damage as you can. Right? There's no need to do simply standing 4. Actually, you can't even grab up here because it doesn't launch them. She's still grounded, right? Standing 4. There's no launch. Whereas when you do 2-3, it launches. And that's when you can use your special ability, the hook grab. So you do something like this, grab, then you have to do standing 4. You see, the second one was standing 4. Never mind. Okay, with this one, you see how this just whiffed? Sometimes it will whiff, sometimes it won't. Depends on the angle. See, now I got it. You just have to hit when she's really high in the air, but if you don't want to drop it, what I do 2-3 only once, and then I finish with standing 4, because it's just easier, and you grab, it's a little bit less damage, 308 compared to, let's see, 320, but it's worth it, unless you're a high level player and Cabal is your main, and you know that you won't drop it. I could recommend you use standing 4, because it's just so hard to drop. Okay, so that's how you can use hook grab with your combos. You can use your hook grab only if they're launched, right? And you launch with standing 2-3. Alright, you get it, right? Okay, you get it. And standing 2-3 hook grab and relaunches, so good high damage. Alright, I think we're good for that. So if you don't have the move equipped, the hook grab, you're gonna have to finish with down back 4. That's always a good option, and it's an armor breaker, right? So you're still gonna get some good damage if you do something like this. You can amp it. 248. And they can't, this is unbreakable, because if they broke when I launched, whoops, that's not supposed to happen. When you break armor with down back 4, it does not relaunch. So you have to either counter or punish, which is, you don't really want to do, because this is unsafe. If you make a mistake, then you're screwed. But this 16 frames too is going to be really hard to use anyways. Or you can break armor, but when you break armor, it doesn't relaunch. What the hell? Let me just see here. I break armor, it doesn't relaunch. Now I'm going to turn the armor breaker off. I'm going to break armor, or I mean I'm just going to use the easy fatal blow. Now it relaunches. What? I think it's because it's supposed to just it's supposed to relaunch when you just do it raw, right? Someone does an unsafe move, you do it raw.
Too slow.
475 damage to punish with down back 4. And the reason why I'm extending combos with just standing 4 instead of doing back 1-2 like this, because this actually does more damage. 70 damage compared to this. It looks like it wouldn't because this is 2 hits, right? But it does. Let's look at a real scenario where this might actually really happen. So let's say Cetrion does... Say she does this. Bang. Okay, I'm gonna turn off Easy Crushing Blow. Cetrion will do the wall. She won't amp it, and let's say I'm calling it out, right? This is minus 20, non-amped. I do the call out, reversal, slam, boom. Okay, I make the call out. I punish. And that's a wall punish right there. Without the easy crushing blow on, so this is realistic. So yeah, interesting, isn't it? Okay, so that was the how you can use the down back 4. What is it called? Hook slam. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so you can get the crushing blow when you break armor or whatever, when it punishes, and you don't have to amp it. So that was 223 damage. Now I will amp it. 270 damage. It's like 40 damage more. Usually when a amp gives you about 50 more damage, that's when you want to amp it. So this means that you always want to amp this when you get it. So 140 compared to 100. Yeah, so it's worth amping even on punishes. And even if you don't amp it, it will still launch. Okay, air rolling buzzsaw. That's a normal special that he has in all variations, just like this one here, the back forward 3, and also like the hook slam, I think it's called. I keep forgetting the name. Yeah, down back 4. Okay, so this move, annoying as hell online, right? You probably face this. It's unsafe. It's safe when you amp it, so that's why you want to amp it, to keep yourself safe. Let's say you're fighting someone that has a actually, how unsafe is it? -11, -7. It's not really. Ooh, man. Actually, it's not unsafe. -11. No one can let me think here. Raiden might be able to punish this. Your turn is definitely over. Right, let's say she does this. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's right. Session can't punish this. Actually, this is like pretty goddamn safe. You lose your turn, but it's... I don't really see how this could be punished. So why would you amp it? I think you would amp it for either for pressure or for combo routes. I'm sure there are combo routes with the amping, I just don't know them. And this is not something I really want to spend a bar on, like maybe somewhere in the corner. No, it doesn't look like it's for combos. Because you can't punch fast enough after. Oh, so I mean you can convert off of it, off of a poke, but... yeah, it doesn't seem practical. I think it's just more of a pressure type thing. Yeah, I think this one is just to keep yourself safe. I'm not sure if I would spend a bar on this, to be honest. -4, depends on your distance, right? The farther away you're going to be, the more plus you will be with projectiles. Here, this one was +3 actually, but if you're here, let's do it like here. -3. It's better than -10, but here it's just like, here you lose your turn more significantly, whereas here you don't really lose your turn, you can just back away. That's why you would spend a bar if you just want to keep pressuring. There might be some people who can punish like this. There might be, it's hard to say. Like maybe from here, maybe Sub-Zero with a slide, or maybe like Jade with her blazing running nitro kick from the stance. It's hard to say. Probably not though. Okay. So I would use this move liberally and just annoy people. I think it makes you, yeah, it makes you fall to the ground when you get hit, which is super annoying for the other person. And you can dash in. What's the hit advantage? It's in the 40s, so you have to put like 2 dashes in for pressure. It's incredible the tools he has. Okay, we're gonna talk about the crushing blows. So the back 1, 2, down 2 has a crushing blow on punish. This one here. Or counter. It doesn't launch. Yeah, the thing with back 1, 2, down 2, it doesn't launch. It looks like it does, right? But you're stuck. You're stuck in stun for too long. You see, I can't do anything, and the damage is not real good. 171, there's no chip. Makes you wonder, like, why? Why would you do this? When you can just have more damage just by doing like a normal combo route. See, I'm already higher. I guess it looks cool. I don't get it, guys. If I'm wrong, let me know, but even on Combat Academy, I don't think it says that you can convert off of this. Yeah, I don't think you can. So you can also get a crushing blow from 4 to 4, the same concept. It will trigger on punish. 211 damage, no chip damage, some pretty weak damage. Man, these crushing blows are not very good. Right, you can get something like, look, I'm already doing more damage than the crushing blow. Like, to be honest, it's better to just not even cash them out. There's no point. I just really don't understand why his crushing blows are so weak. Okay, anyways, at least that's one of his weaknesses, I guess. I don't remember if this was nerfed or what, but okay, anyways. So if you actually want to use these crushing blows, which I don't recommend you do, but if you do, you have to just have an understanding of frame data. So if someone does something extremely unsafe, you can punish with back 1, right? If someone does something that's minus 16 or more, this is going to work. If someone does something that is minus 13 or more, then that's when you use 4-2, because this is a startup of 12, this is a startup of 15. So anything that is like minus 16 or more for this one, minus 13 or more, it's always like 1 frame more than your startup, and you add a minus after. That's how you calculate what to punish or not. Anyway, so that's it for his crushing blows. He has a back throw crushing blow, right? It's an escape fail type thing. Only back throw, let's see the damage. Ooh, that one hurts. 300, okay, that's pretty good. Good damage. So at least there's that. So there's 2 good crushing blows he has, the throw and then the special, which launches on punish. Alright, something like that. You notice that I did standing 3 instead of standing 4 after the crushing blow. It's just because you don't have good timing, you're stuck in stun again for too long, that it's hard for this one to work, especially with the back 4-2, this thing here. If you don't have that, you can always do something else like this. Nice and easy, right? So you want to go into the Nomad dash after the down 2, and then you can use your own combo route. I use standing 4 because it's just easy and high damage, right? You can use standing 3 if it's more difficult for you to time it, but it should be fine. If you don't have the high hook grab, what is it called? I keep forgetting the name. Yeah, the hook grab. If you don't have the hook grab, you can just use down back 4 like this. Something like that. It's less damage, but depends on your build. So I believe we've looked at all his normals. We're going to start looking at some special abilities. So I've made a build here. Oh no, we forgot the buzzsaw, which actually has a crushing blow if it if it punishes. Interesting. What's the startup frame? How the fuck? Okay, just a quick tip. When you use the buzzsaw and you try to amp it, see how I'm pressing RB? Nothing's happening right now? It's because you have to hold 1 and then it will work. That's 18 frames. Oh, frames are good too. -1 on amp if you do it in a combo. Unsafe, obviously, if you do it not in a combo. Yeah, this might actually trick some people. You know how usually after 1-on-1 someone sane is not gonna special cancel? You can throw this out there to surprise them. It's a mid, right? Oh, and it's not a mid, sorry, it's a high. Is it duckable on block? It's duckable, so you have to be really careful when you use this, but from time to time this might surprise your opponents. Alright, so there's a crushing blow. The thing about this move, guys, if you want to get the crushing blow, so this is good for just zoning, right? To stop zoners, because if Setchion's trying to zone you, for example, you just throw this up there, and since it makes her fall, and there's a lot of, gives you a lot of Oki or hit advantage. Let's keep the terms proper. Look, you have time to close the distance, but if you want to get the crushing blow, look, this doesn't say this triggers if this attack is a punish and counter like it usually does for other things, like this one, for example. See, this one says triggers if this attack counters or punishes. There's a difference between a counter and a punish in this game. A punish means that you hit them after they've done something unsafe when they are in recovery. So either they do something unsafe or they are just done their move even though it's safe, and then you hit them while they are in recovery, and I'll show you that in a second. Or, so that's what punish means, and that's what they want you to do here. A counter means you interrupt someone. So for example, okay, let's look at this here. I'm gonna send this. That's a counter. It interrupted. You see how the rock did not have time to land? But if I wait, I throw this, I just punished. I got punished too, but... So the thing is, that's how you have to get it. So, okay, you let her throw the rock. Okay, if I can fucking do it. Interesting. So now I'm punishing. You see the punish icon on, but it doesn't give me the crushing blow. I think it's because I'm getting hit. Let me take this. Okay, now it worked. What? Oh, because a rock didn't hit me first. Okay, so against Setchion, this is going to be extremely hard to get, but... Let's try it again. Come on. Alright, I got it. And you can Nomad Dash. Isn't that interesting? So I'm just going to put easy crushing blow on because I don't want to get rocks thrown at me all day. So that's a good crushing blow. Alright, so I guess he doesn't have useless crushing blows. Other than these ones here, the combos, I just don't understand. Maybe it's just me. But anyways, this is a good crushing blow. And with the buzzsaw, look at how hard it is to zone him. Right? Setron was zoning me, and then when you throw this, she falls on the floor. And that's unusual. Usually highs, high projectile, they just hit you. They don't make you fall down. But look at this here. Now, of course, if you react, you're like, oh shit, now it's time. I mean, you don't get it, but you close the distance. Now you're like, hi, you can't zone me anymore. Or, if you know it's gonna hit, or you just want to YOLO it, you can do that. Right? So if you're closer, let's say we're here. I react, I'm like, okay, whoa, no, not even. Aha. Oh, it didn't combo, interesting. I'm not fast enough. Anyways, it's better, I guess, full screen, and you just YOLO it, right? Because you have time. Okay, so that's that. So that projectile is amazing for all sorts of purposes. Okay, so we've covered that projectile. Now let's look at rolling buzzsaw. Now we're into the specials. These special abilities, not like the ones where you have to add it to a slot to get it. This is an amazing zoning tool, and it's annoying as hell, right? What's the frame up close? Ooh, unsafe. What is fits? Okay, it's still unsafe when it's amped. He throws too lows. It's kind of slow though, that's right, that's the... You can clearly see it, you have time to jump over it, but when he mixes this and this, you know, like he overwhelms you with all sorts of projectiles. A zoning Cabal can be extremely annoying. So what's the animation when... I don't think it drops you down, no it doesn't. Plus 15, interesting. What if we amp it? Yeah, on amp it will, it combos too, so on amp it will make you fall down, okay. So yeah, just a good projectile to be annoying. I mean, the low projectiles are great, so that's it. Is there something more to it? No, no crushing blows, okay. The hook grab, we've looked at it. This is something I recommend you always have because it extends combos. Alright, the Nomad dash cancel. Now this one is extremely interesting because there's different frame data on block when you use the dash cancels. And I'm gonna show it on the screen now. The most advantageous way you can use dash cancel, and this is weird, but it's going to be from the forward 3. Look at the block advantage. 8. Isn't that interesting? Even 2, 3. Plus 1. Okay. Forward 2. Plus 3. Interesting, huh? But it's not always good, so like down 3 into the Nomad dash cancel is minus 12. Okay, we're curious about frames, so let's go. Standing 4. Plus 3. Forward 4. Minus 1. Down 4. Minus 8. Okay, I'm not going to do them all. Let's just look at the ones that we see often. We see this often, right? But this one is minus 8. We see this one often. This is 0. So it's just neutral. So you're an advantage because the opponent has to react to you canceling or you just YOLOing the shit out of it. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. Cabals are nuts. They're not that nuts. When you see this in the animation, they are not going to let it rip. They will always cancel it. It's just a pressure tool, but it's fake pressure. Unless you're using it for something like minus 8, right? Because now you're at significant frame advantage. And they can't do anything. Even if they press a button, you're still gonna hit them. But when it's stuff like this, where you're in the neutral, this is fake pressure. This is not real. Meaning it's not real that they can't frame trap you, they can't do anything. You have to call them out on their BS. Of course, if they adjust, let's say you've been interrupting this the whole time, now eventually they're just gonna let it rip, right? And that's the mind game. So that's the pressure that you face, but just call them out on it. So for example, I'm gonna get Kabal to actually do it. Okay, he's gonna do that, okay? Stops it and hits me again. He's at 0. I react. You have to react fast though. Right? As soon as you see, you know that it's coming. You see the movement, you react. React fast because it's really goddamn fast. So call them out on it. Just be careful because eventually maybe they will YOLO it. But from my experience, I've never seen a Cabal actually YOLOing it. Never. They will always try to use it to confuse you and pressure you and continue their offense. So I would say interrupt. I would say don't respect Kabal when he's doing 1-1 and 2 Nomad Dash. He's 2 minus, -8, or is 0, right? You can call him out on that. This is easier said than done, okay? But if Cabal does 1-1 into Nomad Dash, don't respect him. If he does 1-1-1 to Nomad Dash, you know that you can trade. You just have to be really quick. Like really quick, right? It has to be a read on your part. If it's a read, you're gonna get him. If from time to time he doesn't do it, and from time to time he does it, he has the advantage, even though it's 0, because you have to react. He knows what he's gonna do, right? Same thing from 4-2-2. This is -1 actually, so he's an advantage. Again, the ones that we see is 1-1, the back 1, and the 4-2. These are the ones where we see cancelled, and he's an advantage, other than 1-1, which is -8, this one here. So this is extremely useful when you're the Cabal, but you can continue your pressure, or if they're interrupting with pokes, you can start doing, and if they're really fast, you can check them with that mid. Ooh, careful though, because this on hit is -2. Interesting. So yeah, it's an amazing pressure tool. This is a great move for Cabal, and Cabal is at an advantage when he does that. But when you make the hard reads, you're able to counter it. So just make sure that if you're Cabal, you don't always do it, right? And whoops. And if they actually start interrupting you, your counter is just to let it rip, to not cancel it. We're gonna switch variation. This one is interesting. So the straight buzzin' places. The one where you're in the air and you throw it like on the on them, like the mid, right? The jumping one. The thing is, you can touch grounded opponents with that. For example, I'm just hopping, I'm waiting until I'm at the top, and then you can send it. But the thing is, it's a high, right? Why would you bother when you can just do that? I mean, I guess against like a Cetrion that's zoning, that's throwing Earthquake, you could do this, right? So for example, let's do it here. Cetrion's second Earthquake can be jumped or ducked, right? And hopping it, did I say duck? I meant hopped. So you could do this, but okay. Do you want to use a slot on this? I don't know. Anyways, amping it will put you back on the floor faster. Yeah, so you can actually catch them with a Nomad Dash after you do a jump kick and a straight buzzsaw amped. It's just, you have to do a deep jump kick, and the timing on the Nomad Dash is actually pretty difficult. So like, this is all easy in practice mode, whoops, but in real life I don't think this is very good unless you're like fighting I don't know, someone who wants to jump all the time, maybe another Cabal that's trying to air gas blast or whatever, I don't know. Or who jumps a lot? I don't know, like Kano jumps a lot. Maybe you want to have something in anti-air to prevent him from jumping. Or like a Fujin that, you know, the Skywalker, or even like a Kung Lao. This is good for anti-airs, but I don't really, it's not very practical. It's not impossible, it's just online this is just not realistic in my opinion. I don't think it's worth the slot, so don't use it, in my opinion. Okay, low hook grab triggers if opponent is... Okay, there's a crushing blow which triggers if the opponent is stand blocking. The player cannot be in block stun. Okay, so we've seen this before. That's like the Baraka crushing blow. So here's what this means. So you can get the crushing blow only, I'm going to turn this off, if the opponent is not getting mixed. So for example, so we know that there's an overhead here, right? So we're going to mix. That's unreactable because this is 15 frames and this is 22 frames, right? 15, 22. Well, I mean, technically, nah, I'm not even going to say reactable. It might be, actually. I'm going to test it out. So anyways, just want to finish my explanation. If you grab their stand blocking like this, and you grab their leg, then you're going to get the crushing blow. I just need to hold it. There you go, crushing blow. But if they're in block stun, like now they're in block stun, right? I mix them, I grab them, no crushing blow. So that's pretty fair in terms of requirements. And I don't really recommend you you just YOLO it, because it's unsafe, -17. Unless you see your opponent constantly blocking high, that's when you just want to sloop. But most opponents are gonna block low, obviously, because it covers this, and the overheads are just like in the middle. are at the end. They're not as a starter like Sub-Zero. Okay, so the low hook grab is used for mix-ups, and we're gonna look at them. There is a couple. So for example, we know that forward 4, we know that forward 2-2-4, like I showed you, ends with an overhead, so you can mix and grab low. We know that the back 1-2 has an overhead in the middle. You can low hook grab. What's the follow-up? 16 frames. Okay, that one is definitely unreactable. Definitely, it's pretty much the same frames. So you can do that. The forward 4, 1+3, there's an overhead at the end. You could do this. 15 frames compared to 21 might be fuzzyable. I will try it. And that's it. There's 3 50-50s here. Now I'm curious to see if I'm able to react. So I'm going to fuzzy it. I'm going to try to fuzzy it and see if I'm able to do it. Ooh, it's fuzzyable. Oh, interesting. Ooh, barely. Oh yeah, but online this is just... Offline it's fuzzyable. Actually it is. Interesting. It's fuzzyable because the overhead is slower than the low. See, I uncrouched. I'm uncrouching like now. But I'm still stuck in block stun, so that's why I'm still covering the low. Okay, so that's that. Fuzzyable, very interesting. Now I'm gonna do... This is not gonna be fuzzyable. Okay, check this out. Okay. Oof. Yeah, no, you can't do it. And let's try the other one. The other one might be fuzzyable. Okay, let's try it. Oh wow, it's fuzzyable. Interesting. I guess Cabal only has one 50-50 that is extremely strong. It's from the back one because of the frames, they're the same. Otherwise, you can fuzzy all of this. Online, of course, fuzzying is quasi impossible depending on how tight the thing is. But this is not too crazy tight. This is not like Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is what? It's 13 compared to 19, and this is... Let's look at the frames. 15 compared to 22. What's the difference? So there's a 7 frame difference between the overhead and the low. So you have 7 frames to fuzzy it essentially, compared to Sub-Zero, which is 6 frames. So it's easier to fuzzy than Sub-Zero, but we know how hard it is to fuzzy Sub-Zero's mix online. So this is probably the same thing. This is probably just as difficult. Still interesting. This means that Cabal's back one into mix is definitely this one lethal. Lethal. But the thing is, if you make the right read and you block the low, you're gonna get a full combo punish on him. So that's fair, but the overhead here that he has, if he does this, he's fine, right? Usually, you know, the fairest 50-50s are like Raiden. When Raiden, after the back 1-2, if he does 1+3 and you duck it, you get a full combo punish. If he does his spark thing and you block and then duck, you get a full combo punish. So it's 50-50 for you and for him. So that's why it's like neutral. No one's really at an advantage. It's a guess for both. But here, this is not a guess for both. Like, this is... He gets punished if I guess right on the low, but he doesn't get punished if he gets me with an overhead. But he can't hit confirm. So at least there's that, but still he's at an advantage. So alright, that's the mix for you. Still pretty good move. Okay, now we're going to look at Nomad Spin. This one. It's an ender. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's just an ender. You get a lot of Oki. Do you? Average. 20 hit advantage. Yeah, I don't like this. Is just an ender. Okay, let's look at the damage difference. 121 compared to 121. Okay, but you can't amp it. 150, okay. I don't really see the use for that move, guys. I think it's a waste of slot, but maybe if someone is a Cabal specialist can explain to me why this move is great. Let's look at it on block. Only -6, impressive. I thought it was going to be unsafe, but yeah, I mean, I don't see it, boys. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Looks cool. We're going to say that. Okay, this one. Mid, low. Interesting. It launches, doesn't it? Interesting. Very interesting. This is like a pretty damaging ender, I think. And it launches, which is interesting. But the thing is, you don't really need a launcher because you have the Nomad dash. And then you can simply launch with specials, with normals, I mean. But let me look at this a little bit more. A lot of time, boys, when I do these guides, there are some moves that I learn on the fly. Some moves that I already know, but we don't really see these moves anymore. So, low spinner, what I'm thinking here. This is an ender when you don't want to switch sides. Okay, and it's more damaging than a down back. So let's do like a normal combo. 219. 204. Yeah, it's not a lot more damage. But let's say you don't want to lose the corner. You know, it's okay to lose the corner when you can just switch back in the corner, but let's say you're here. Okay, let's say you start here. You do this. Now you're like, wow, I'm happy I'm here. You don't want to switch, right? This one, you would be able to keep the corner. So that's one use for it. You can extend combos too. It's not bad, but I think that's its use. I don't think there's much more than just a nice ender that can relaunch, or there's more combo potential. Someone has to discover it. This is not a combo guide, and I am not interested in that move, but there's that, and it's just to keep the corner. On block, you never want to do this on block. This is unsafe, and even if you amp it, it's minus 19. Still unsafe compared to if you don't amp it, minus 17. And it whiffs when you do sending 2 or 3, right? Does it whiff with 111? I think it does. It does. So you have to keep them grounded to be able to use this. So yeah, there's combo routes, but there are just other better options elsewhere. Okay, so that's that. All right, the parry. That's an interesting one. You can hold it. How long can you hold it for? For like 5 seconds. Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna get Cetrion to hit me, and it becomes. So it's 90 damage. Not bad. Look at the health bar. 90 is a lot, but what's my hit advantage? 9. So you get hit advantage. So it's your turn. It doesn't knock down. And yeah, that's how you want to use it, right? A parry is always good. You can get people by surprise, and since you can hold it, that's great. But look at the recovery. 33 recovery. That's a lot of recovery, which I don't like, but it's okay. Doesn't do more than 90 damage. You can't lead to a full combo. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not amazing, which is why you don't see it often. Okay, well, we're gonna look at Gas Blast. Look at how many properties it has when you amp it. Buff damage, buff heal. It disables opponent jump. Opponent jump, I think? Yeah, I think so. And it damages over time. Disables opponent jump. Interesting. So not connecting an amplified Gas Blast will create a gas cloud on the front line, on the fight line. The amplified gas cloud will heal Cabal, buff his damage, and deal damage over time to opponents, in addition to disabling their ability to jump. But the thing is, you have to whiff it. See? Now I'm going in it, I'm getting healed. Let's look at the damage buff. It's interesting. 136 damage compared to 121. So it's very interesting. How long does it last? About 5 seconds. So when you use it on someone, the gas cloud disappears. The reason why you would use it on block is just to reset neutral. So for example, you could do this. Now you're close. It's not as ideal. You're in range for a standing one. Or you could do this. Now you've reset neutral. And if that's where you want to be, you know, I agree that Kabal wants to be, it's better for him to be here than here. Ideally, he wants to be like here. To touch with back one, right? But this is fine. It's up to you if you want to spend a bar to be in neutral. It's only -5, so it's great. So let's look at it on hit. Ooh, it whiffs on that. Doesn't whiff here. +3, interesting. In range for a 4-2. What if we amp it? Oh, from the back one, it doesn't touch at all. So what about 1-1-1? No, of course. 1-1. Yes. 2-3. No. 2. Yes, of course. What else? How about 4-2? 4-4, I mean. It works. +3. Not bad. On amp, +9. Interesting. Interesting. Wow, look at this one. So I touched instantly, but when I amped it, I didn't touch. I created a gas cloud. So I did 4-2-2. Then I just hit with... Okay, if you hit with standing 4, you know, it will get her. But if you hit with standing 3, it will not, which will just hit on the first hit and create a gas cloud after, which is ideal, I would assume. What's the damage? 50, okay. No, this is not gonna touch. So that's a problem, huh, guys, is that it doesn't work with back 1 too, which is unfortunate because that's his best tool, in my opinion. His best normal, I mean. Look, it restands. Like, I don't have the right abilities to show like a full combo because you need the back 4-2 thing. the hook, heel hook thing. Anyways, but I can just show you here that it does restand. Restanding from being launched is +3, and it's 9 again when you amp it. So it's good for hit advantage. Like I like gelling and stuff. When you look at +3 is good to guarantee a down 1 or even a forward 4, because then this is 9 frame minus 3 becomes 6 frames. You would trade with someone like Garrus that does down 1. But of course, if you amp it, then you can go for the like really sweet things like forward 4, for example. So anyways, that's a restand with, you know, this is a pretty good attack. It's not bad. But again, there's other better ways to play Cabal now. So the extended hook, that's another restand as well. Can you amp it? Nah. The reason why I don't really like this move, usually I like restands and stuff, is because it's only +2. Which is okay, no, it's good. I just said the gas blast being +3 is good because it guarantees a down 1, and that's still true here. And the mind game would then be to either down 1 or grab, right? So, for example, yeah, it's still +2. This becomes 5 frame, or you can go for a grab. So what you do is essentially with this attack extended hook is that once they're used to you always, you know, doing down 1 on hit because you try to trade and you're at frame advantage, so you always get them. What you do is you grab them after, and that's what the mind game is. Or even like you can just reset and go back into the neutral if they keep poking you. So I'm gonna try it out. So this is good, like this is a good attack. Cetrion mashes and she gets opened up. So that's a counter you can do. This is a good attack. I shouldn't have said like I don't really like it, because I'm greedy. I want as many frames as possible. But +2 is good enough. It's a good attack. It's a good restand. It's plus, so you can guarantee a down 1. You can trade with a forward 4, almost trade. So it becomes a 7 frame attack. Anyways, it's good. I like it. That's all there is to say about that one. Now we're going to look at my favorite variation. That's the meta at the moment. I know that when there was, when I was exploring customs before the patch, I was looking at air slide gas and I was like, what the F is this move? I just thought it was for mobility, right? But the problem is I didn't look at the frames. I don't remember if the frames changed or not. They might have. I don't remember. But I said that this is not very good, and people were trying to convince me in the comments that I was wrong, and I was like, nah, I'm really not seeing it. I think they're overselling it. But I think I was wrong, because this is his best move now. Usually, sometimes it takes time for a move to get explored by really high-level players, and it took a while. I think it took until Tekken Master used it. That's when we all saw like, holy crap, this is really good. I know that, what's his name? PL used it, Perfect Legend, and I was like, okay, it looks okay, it just looks like a cracked out move, but right, because PL, what he does this, and to this one, he does this, and to poke, which is, you know, all fine, but that's all I was saying. I was just saying pressure, but there's all sorts of good text you can do, and you can extend your combos and everything. Anyways, I was also seeing it in Combat League, but I was not really impressed. I just thought it was annoying like a fly. But now I really like this move, and there's a lot of incredible things you can do with it. It's extremely hard to anti-air. It's not simple. So for example, if you can do this, right? You first kick and then you do a deep jump kick. That's +4. The deeper you wait, the more plus you're at, +9. So Cetrion here could interrupt me if I do a deep jump kick like that with down 4. But now you adjust, right? You mash it. But you see how when I mash it, I kick as fast as possible. I'm only +1, but you're always plus. Sometimes you're going to be 0, but 0 is like, it's neutral, and no one knows because the data is variable. This is variable frame data, so the only thing that the opponent needs to know, or that you need to know, is that you're plus. So if you do it fast like this, you know you probably might +1, just poke. And when your opponent keeps getting poked, eventually they're going to start blocking the follow-up. And that's when they start blocking that you can go ahead and grab. And if, again, they poke all the time, you can backdash into back 1. So let's test it out. If you're going to backdash, just be careful, because if you do it quickly like this, +1, a lot of people, if they mash, are going to get you. If they wait a little bit, they're not going to get you, right? But most people are going to want to mash after this. But for example, let's say I do a deep jump kick. It's deep. There you go, I got them because I'm so plus here that I have time to backdash. No, let's mash, let's mash. I might get him if I mash. Nope, I can't even get him if I mash because he's +5, I think, here. Yeah, 5. You can also do things like when they respect you, just go for the grab immediately, right? Like this. If you want to stay plus all the time because you're a greedy frame maniac, you can simply use your pressure to do back 2. That's what PL does, right? But the thing is, careful with that, because you have to do a deep jump kick for that, or else you're going to get interrupted, because the startup frame of back 2 with Cabal is 16 frames. So you have to be very careful. And now I'm going to try to anti-air him. Show you some anti-airs. Oh boy, okay, you have to be careful. Look at these anti-airs. Just know that this is possible, right? Is it deep? This is like quasi-deep. Let's try to do a really deep jump in. Am I going to be able to anti-air? Okay, this whiffs. Okay, let's try it down 2. Okay, this is just like it whiffs completely. Let's try another version. Let's say I do a close jump kick and I mash. Oh, now I'm able to anti-air him. Okay, interesting. Let's say I'm gonna do a close one, and I will do a close one and I won't mash. I'll do a deep one, a deep close one. Let's see if I can anti-air him. Now it doesn't anti-air. You see, it's just, oh, now it anti-airs. There's so many variables here that you have to be very careful. So let's say I do a cross up. Will she be able to anti-air me? Okay, Citron has a really good anti-air against him. Let's say it's a deep cross up. Okay, now I can't. Let's try it again before I say that. It's interesting. It trades. Like, this is extremely interesting. Let's try it down. Okay, so look, here's +2. That's what he's doing. Oh my god, I can still anti-air him. So now he's at an angle where sometimes I anti-air him, sometimes I don't. And that's the problem with this move. Like, it's so completely inconsistent. It's almost like a gamble for both of you. You don't know who's gonna, if you're gonna get anti-aired, you don't know if you're going to hit them. In most circumstances, from my experience, like, I know that right now I'm showing you when I can anti-air him every time, but I've labbed this extensively with Citron, and mostly you get hit. Because his hitbox on his kick is, like, you see, now it doesn't work anymore. And this is just a, what was this? Okay, this is a normal one. You know how he has like the close, far, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, if you really want to be safe against the Cabal's attacks, you have to block them. Because if you gabble and you fail, you're gonna get launched, right? Because as you saw, he's able to OS his jump kicks. Yeah, he can OS his jump kicks so that when he lands, he nomad dashes. It doesn't always work, that's the thing. See, it doesn't work right now. I have to do a deeper jump kick. So if you do a deep initial jump kick and then you mash your second one, it's going to work. So let's say that we do that with... okay, so we're trading like this now, and he's able to get me. By the way, if I'm a bit too far, if I just stay here, it whiffs. So it's super inconsistent, but anyway, so I'm close enough. He does it. Can I anti-air him? I can anti-air him on the first kick. What about the second one? On the second one as well. So it's just fucking inconsistent. So let's take another one. You can do jump 2 instead, right? So let's say he does that on block. So what is it? +7 for him. It's pretty deep. I can anti-air him. I can't anti-air him right now. You see the inconsistency. I know this is getting repetitive, but like I have to show you. This is... It's not like he's usually at an advantage because he's plus when he lands, but you can go for a down 4. You're gonna have to play around with it because sometimes it whiffs, sometimes it doesn't. If I do the normal one, say I do a normal jump kick, and I'm doing it like realistically, it's gonna whiff. But if I do it a far one, that works. If I do a close one, I whiff. What if I mash it? I still whiff. But if you do the first one is a jump 2. You can even do it twice, but if you probably just want to get more damage. It's plus anyways, right? Then you can get it. What if I, from this distance, when you're close to her, it still works. You have to be careful when you're like here. If you're like from that distance, you have to do it far to be able to get it. You might get anti-aired, you might not. It's just all weird. This move is just cracked. It's super hard to analyze, but anyways, that's it. It's plus. Use it to your advantage. See, now I can't cancel it. Like, I can't interrupt it now for some reason. It's just, oh man, this move is just so cracked and so, like, it's so inconsistent. I really don't like those kinds of things. It reminds me of the Edenian fan thing. The katana fans that got nerfed to oblivion. Anyways, there's 3 distances, play around with it. And if you're gonna use it, I recommend you just be cracked. Use it to cover distance too against people who don't want you to be close, or against zoners. Maybe not against Cetrion, but you see how this closes the distance quickly? Yeah, so just do stuff. Make sure that you OS your Nomad dash, and you're gonna be probably having the advantage. You might get anti-aired, but try it from time to time. Slight air gas is definitely his best move in the game. I mean, for him. Just because he's plus, right? Even if you do it from here. Look, this is +5 compared to a normal kick. A normal jump kick is going to be minus unless you do it deeply. This is deep. This is +6, right? But if I do it normally, the touch, this is -6 now. But as soon as you incorporate the slide air gas, then it's 0 at the worst. So this means like it's usually plus. So if you want plus frames, let's say you don't even want to do the double kick thing. You just want plus frames. Do this for pressure, right? And then you start your pressure. So play around with it and have fun with it, guys. That's my guide. It only took me 2 hours to record this. Alright, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Peace.